minutes from our immediate past meeting, and I'll ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Lynn, second. Jeremy Cross. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, minutes are approved. Thank you. We have correspondence this evening. We have four members excused: Judith Shub, Dale Lingenfelter, who I believe is being represented by a St. Pete County alternate tonight. Anthony Caligieri is here. We have Phyllis Dickelacker excused. I don't see another alternate for Phyllis here this evening if I missed it. And we have Phil Myers excused. We have disciplinary action from the Department of Health advising as a result of investigation that Jalise Salvato, S-A-L-V-A-T-T-O, of Yonkers, New York, EMT number 362422, has had his or her certification suspended for 1 year effective November 15, 2011. Suspension is stayed. They've been assessed a civil penalty of $2,000 for violations of Part 800, Section 16, subsection D. We have DOH correspondence regarding a letter from Acting Bureau of EMS Director Lee Burns advising of a municipal certificate of need issued to the Saratoga Springs Fire Department effective January 20th of 2012. We also have correspondence with a letter from Columbia County EMS Board requesting the reappointment of members P.J. Keeler, Judith Shub, Michael Potter, and alternate Jeannie Scotty. The rest of the information appears here regarding course applications for information on those. Any questions on the correspondence? Okay. At the top of our agenda then, we'll address the issues of the CON committee. Evan?
Okay, CON committee met prior to this meeting. I believe the minutes of the meeting are there, or the notes, I should say. And we had two items on the agenda. We had the review of the Troy Ambulance Transfer of Authority from SEMS to their ownership of that certificate. And we reviewed that. If you recall, at the last council meeting, one of the items was missing, and as a result of that, it was not the application was not approved at the last meeting. And since then, we have the item that was not submitted. In addition, this evening we have one of the items that expired at the end of 2011 was the certificate of insurance. We have a new one as part of the packet now, so the certificate of insurance is also in effect. There was no lapse; it was just a matter of updating the application to show the new certificate. We reviewed the application. We determined the application was complete. We also have a letter from the Department of Health saying that there was no bar for the fitness and competency. And as a result of that, the CON committee, after their review, moved the transfer of operating authority, and it now comes to this body as a seconded motion. So with that, I'll turn it back to the chair to conduct the vote on that. And the second motion was to approve the F&C and thereby approve the application from this body of members.
So we have a seconded motion as stated from the CON committee.
That's correct.
Any discussion? Okay, will be a roll call vote. Your vote is affirmative in favor of the motion to approve the motion as stated. Les Fremantle.
Yes.
William Price.
Yes.
Jim Raven.
Yes.
P.J. Keeler.
Yes.
Dave Bettini.
Yes.
Evan Eisenhandler.
Yes.
Steve Rutzler.
I have a conflict, I'll abstain.
Kathleen Allen.
Yes.
Kevin Robert.
Yes.
Jim Vina.
Yes.
John McMillan.
Yes.
Dr. Daly,
Yes.
Dr. Jagoda.
Abstain.
Abstain.
Correct.
Steve Kroll.
Yes.
Steve Rinaldi is chairman, I'll abstain. Rich Brandt.
Yes.
Lynn Kane.
Yes.
Jim Stairs.
Yes.
Skip Murney.
Yes.
Scott Skinner.
Yes.
Jeffrey Williams.
Yes.
Anne Marie Cross.
Yes.
Anthony Caligiuri.
Yes.
Is there any member with voting rights here that I have missed? Twenty yes votes, 0 no votes, 2 abstentions, motion carries.
Okay, so at this point, I believe the executive director will notify the Department of Health of the results of the committee action and the vote. The other item we considered was the Columbia County Certificate of Need, which is, if everyone recalls, but basically, a little over 2 years ago, Columbia County was granted a municipal CON, and they're required to make full application for that CON to become permanent. And that application is now going to be before this body. The CON committee reviewed the application at their meeting this afternoon, and we judge it to be complete, which starts a 60-day clock. The next step in the process will be the announcement of a public hearing. And at the conclusion of public hearing, at the next meeting of this council, it'll be voted on by the full council. So that's where we are, and that is actually the end of the report for the CON committee.
So we have a seconded motion to approve the Columbia County, is that correct?
No.
No votes
So that-
necessary?
Well, there's a question. The CON committee found it complete, and to tell you the truth, I am not sure if it has to be, if that finding has to be voted by this body to enforce it. And maybe my predecessor could enlighten us. Kevin, do you recall?
You're finding the application complete. No, the council is at the CON committee function.
Any questions then for Evan on his report?
Do you have one question?
Okay.
Your totals on the previous vote were what? 20 and 2? I think it's 20 and 3.
Dr. Jagoda.
I think you abstained.
Oh, you're right.
Just for the record to make sure it's accurate.
Yep, 3 abstentions, you're correct. Thanks for catching it, Jim. Okay. Moving on to the agenda. Executive committee report. Everything that we discussed upstairs is coming downstairs in one or the other reports. There's no additional dialogue to report on. We'll go then to the treasurer's report. Rich?
We're still in fairly good shape. We're still in a strong position. $245,000 in cash and cash equivalents, another $191,000 in investments. Our receivables have grown primarily because of a voucher that's passed due to us, or actually 2 now, Tim. Looks like $77,247,000 in AR. But we're still in good shape. I think that's also just a sign of things to come in terms of late payments. There are 3 bills for approval on the other side here: 3-man document shredding, Robbie McHugh for IP work, and CPR books for our courses. And those come to you as a second motion from the executive board, unless you have questions on that.
Questions on the payment of bills? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Bills shall be paid.
Nothing further from me, sir.
Any other questions for Rich? Thank you, Chair. GPO Committee, Mr. Kroll.
We have signed a renewal of the GPO agreement with Mohawk Hospital Supply for a 3-year term, retroactive to July 1st of the year. Our 2011 sales volume was $53,500, for which we received a marketing fee of $530. The features of the new arrangement do 2 things. Number one, we now have the sales rights to not only the counties in our region, but also those in the Ames region and the Mountain Lakes region, so that more than doubles our span. The second piece of it is when our volume grows, we'll get paid an increased marketing fee. We can take our monthly volume total from what is now between 5,000 and 6,000 to 20,000. Our marketing fee will essentially double on a per unit amount. With us adding so much territory, the possibilities of us being able to do that are certainly there. So we will be working with the other 2 regions to roll the program out there during early 2012. But we also have a lot of opportunity in this region as well. We have 7 agencies that make up the bulk of the sales in this region of that $50-something thousand. And so we're continuing to work with the marketing people at Mohawk Hospital Supply. There's certain things that they sell that nobody's going to beat the price on because they got to buy the truckload. We sell things like IV fluids and software because they supply the hospitals. They get them at rock bottom. But there are other things they can be more competitive on, working with them on trying to smooth some of those pricing. But also, if you haven't looked at it, you don't have to look at it as I'm going to move all my services to this agent. But if you look at it and say, holy cow, their price, I use a lot of normal saline, their price of normal saline may be a half what I already pay. So it's awfully good to look at. So I encourage everybody to do that. Thanks.
Any questions for Steve? I'd just like to acknowledge appreciation for Steve's leadership and Tim's leadership in working that out and working with Mohawk Hospital Supply. There was a number of phone calls and emails and letters and a lot of work that went into renegotiating, I think, a agreement that not only positions the region well with respect to standardization of supplies and purchasing, but also provides an additional revenue stream for the organization toward our future. So appreciate all your time on that. Let's do the Medical Advisory Committee, the Medical Director's Report, and the Academic Committee Report. Any order you'd like, Dr. Dale.
Thanks, Steve. Just to start quickly with the Medical Director's Report, I just traveled to the National Association of EMS Physicians conference, leaving me feeling reinvigorated about how well we are doing EMS in this region. Thank you all for your efforts on that behalf. We've got a program that's well situated compared to other programs nationally. One piece of information that I did bring back from there, the CDC has released trauma triage guidelines. This is an update to the MMWR that they released a couple of years ago that we have endorsed in the state and in the region. There's nothing that's particularly important for our agency providers. This essentially is going to practice exactly the way it is, which is nice. Some other things of note, medication shortages over time. You'll realize that we have had almost rolling medication shortages. First in the fall we had fentanyl, and then after the fentanyl began to come back, we now have a shortage of midazolam, 5 milligrams in 1 ml. If your agency is short of midazolam, you're unable to get that restocked, make sure that Tim or Dean know here. We're finding alternative pathways to make sure that we can continue operation. This is much too valuable to us and much too important for our patients for us to go without. We have some alternatives. There also, while I was down there, was a minor crisis that ended up being averted when it looked like all of our capnography disposables, that's the little tube that goes from the life pack or the MRX to the endotracheal tube. that we would not be able to buy any more of those. Most of our local agencies have enough on hand, so it wasn't going to be an immediate crisis for us, but still potential. And that has actually been resolved and is fine. There's an FDA hold on imported materials, and this has been cleared up. And the last thing to report is the project that we've been working on for the last 3 years. I think it's been 3 years. This is a collaborative effort between Remo, Mountain Lakes, Arams, Rochester, the Monroe-Livingston region, and Suffolk County to do basic life support intranasal Narcan has nearly reached fruition. Through the help of both the Bureau of EMS and the AIDS Institute at the Department of Health, with some guidance from the Harm Reduction Coalition, we have a training video that's made up. We have a research plan that's going to be in place, and they are securing ample supplies to be able to get this off the ground for BLS agencies. So there will be no cost incurred to the agencies that choose to participate. So this is a pretty exciting program we're about to get going here. So thank you all for your support as we've been putting it together. Thank you, sir.
Any questions for Dr. Dillon? He likes questions. All right. Thank you. Executive Director's report, Tim.
Hopefully everybody has a copy. I'll just touch on a couple of highlights. Steve already talked about GPO. Our relocation is going well. We met with the landlord and owners last week. Fit up is being performed as I speak now. The room is cleared out of everything except what we wanted. Walls are being painted, carpets are being cleaned. So it's anywhere from February 1 to February 29 will be the moving date. Not exactly sure how we're going to transition in, but I can tell you by the end of February we'll be there. Working with DOH with these BLS FR updates. DOH has actually been great, in my opinion, and giving these people ample opportunity to submit their updated applications. They've extended the deadline several times. We're working with them, notifying all the agencies within our region. I know now that Dan Clayton has about 800 of these applications on his desk he's sorting through. So it may take a little while for some of these agencies to be notified. That being said, it wouldn't be surprised me if a few of them did lose their certification, though. I don't know, I don't think Evan touched on it. We met with representatives from Cambridge Valley Rescue Squad, the CON committee, and I last week. Cambridge Valley is entertaining the idea of reapplying for Rensselaer County, namely the town of Hoosick. It was a fact-finding mission, I think, for those guys who left the table knowing what would be expected of them should they do decide to reapply for that. That concludes my report, unless anyone has any questions.
Tim, do you think you have enough funding to complete the move and get yourself set up in the new space?
The move, yes. Fit up as far as furniture, something like that would be iffy. Right now, we're currently inventorying what we have. There's a possibility we may own some of these tables that you're sitting in front of right now, but we're not absolutely sure. Dave is working with head custodian Mark House here to inventory this stuff. There is a level of uncertainty of which is ours and what is ours and what isn't. We may be deficient, in folding tables, folding chairs for meetings and stuff at the facility.
Tim, when you were discussing this upstairs, I have an outstanding resource in Rensselaer County that could assist you. Dirt cheap prices, great product.
Be happy to speak with you. I think we're going to need some tables and chairs.
Just as a follow-up to Kevin's question, is there any issue that you think we need to take up in regard to like the support of courses that may be offered through that time period that you're going to need, something as simple as chairs and tables for?
I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Jim, but we do have a lot of training scheduled right now, kicking off the new year, I think, in a real good way. A couple of different EMT courses, what could be a banner EMT intermediate course, and the big challenge is we have stuff starting here now and transitioning these classes over there. My concern is I don't know if we're going to have places for them to sit once they're there.
Well, and I guess that's my question, is should we entertain a motion or discussions on a potential motion to authorize an expenditure, to ensure that, the business of Remo is able to continue?
I would welcome that. I would welcome that.
Do you have a suggestion for an amount, or is there a?
I don't know what tables, folding tables and chairs go for. I don't know if anybody's made any purchases lately. I'm thinking of lightweight, sturdy. Phyllis Inland.
Well, just because I've done this for 2 agencies recently, I would strongly recommend the heavy-duty plastic that fold in half. They store much easier, take up less space, much easier to keep clean. You can get them at Lowe's for like $40 a piece, even when they're not on sale. Decent chairs. The place I was going to suggest was the Hoosick Falls, it's Remsco County, Ecology, Conservation, and Waste Management. It's a warehouse where people donate used furniture, and we have found spectacular deals up there of this type of things when people have gone out of business. And you can get them for as little as $5, $10 a piece. I mean, like tables.
Good shape.
I'm
I'm
very
looking at
good
some
shape.
of the tables I see here now. I don't know if I really want these in the new
Also
building,
in Remsco County, when we outfitted our satellite training center at the Skodak Town Hall, Rosemary Vogt, our administrator, looked into and did purchase tables and chairs. And she was able to outfit a room of about this size for a little under $1,000.
Yeah.
How long is our lease here for our agreement with?
We've notified them of our cancellation, our intent to move, and right now we're on a month-to-month extended through March 1st.
Okay, so we're paid through March 1st.
We will be
We
paid.
will, but I don't think we paid February yet.
No, we haven't.
No, it's not due yet.
My only thought process is if we could get everything set up, transition, find out what you need, still do the last classes here during the month of February, then we can have an accurate list of materials and prices, and we can vote intelligently instead of just kind of approving a blank check going forward. It just seems like they could just transition here for the last month and then have everything done, set up properly and good to go. It's just-
Would that present a problem when you talked about the moving company and how they wanted to move you?
If most of the stuff stays here, then that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's our quandary we're in right now, Jeff, because we don't know exactly what is staying, what is going. We're working on that. I know when we solicited the bids for the move, the movers are gonna come in here and wanna move everything in a day or two, And,
All right, our next meeting is the 27th, right?
yeah,
Steve, Jim, I don't know who's,
That would give 3 days. I mean, I love your idea, Jeff, but that would give us 3 days to approve money and then be out of the building.
My follow-up was just, unless Rich can provide us with, a different amount that you feel is appropriate from a financial perspective, I would simply make a motion that the executive director be authorized to expend up to $5,000 to make sure that Remo's function can continue as a result of the move, and furnishings as needed are purchased.
We're going shopping.
do we have a second to that motion?
Second one, Steve.
Further discussion on this topic? In light of the comments, Jeff's concerns, otherwise?
I think, Tim, we're gonna run into fit-up costs that no one's thought of when we get into the space. And I think we're gonna get some of this stuff over there, we're gonna look at this nice freshly painted building and look at tables that have got, the corners chipped off because they've been chewed on for years. And, anybody tell me that their chair is comfortable that they're sitting in right now, because, these chairs have had it, and so we're gonna move in some new space. I don't know if the phone, you're gonna have enough telephones, toilet paper holders, whatever, if we give Tim,
Whiteboards.
whiteboards, budget, for fit up, and of course, it'll all be, appropriately documented for the audit at the end of the year, and, in the treasurer's report, I think that makes sense.
Did we approve a fit-up budget already?
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Didn't we approve a fit-up budget already? They submitted their cost for fit-up and what we needed to get done?
For
the moving was approved. There were 6 workstation or modules there, which were approved for purchase. They were both approved.
and the telephone and the computer system was approved. So it was just this incidental stuff that Steve mentioned that's left.
Okay. So
You can't steal the toilet paper.
with the prudent accounting, we have a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Just so we have one item, is that adequate, Tim?
I think it would be, yeah,
At least to get you started.
absolutely, absolutely.
Any
That was my
other
only
discussion? Okay. Motion made and seconded to authorize up to $5,000 appropriately accounted for and documented, of course, for the purchase of additional fit-up for the new building in New Carter Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstain? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tim, anything else? No. Semsco.
Semsco meets next Tuesday and Wednesday at the Troy Home Garden Inn. If you may recall, the September meetings were canceled due to flooding and other weather disasters throughout the state. So both Semsco and CMAC have rather robust and full agendas.
Thank you, Rich. Questions for Rich? Nurses Committee, Maureen.
We discussed the renal restocking form. We reviewed this. There were two changes to the medications. The naloxone 2 milligrams and 2 mLs will be added, and diltiazem will no longer be stocked. The miscellaneous, it was suggested that we add 18 gauge and 22 gauge needles in addition to the 19, 21, and 25 gauge. Also requested to add saline flushes. We put that on the list. And prepackaged IV setup should replace the injector sites. For the infusions, D10, 250 mLs of D10 will be stocked, 100 mLs of normal saline, 1,000 mLs of normal saline, and no longer will be stocked the 250 of normal saline. I think that is the time, is that correct? We're back and forth and back and forth.
Version 12012.
I think that's the final. Excuse me, Dr. Daly requested that the Remsco County BLS and RCAM program will be starting up soon. BLS providers will not be restocking hospitals. The hospitals will be contacted for follow-up information on patients treated under this program. There was no follow-up to the Texas variances that were reported at the last meeting. Albany Med and St. Peter's, and one of them were present at the meeting to give us a report for follow-up. There were no issues at Saratoga or St. Mary's. Dr. Daly also discussed the need for cardiac arrest data to be entered into the CARES registry, and that there has been an issue with one local hospital not complying with this. This is going to affect the data that will be presented at the CMAC meeting later this month. Department of Health policy statements on EpiPen, the epinephrine auto-injectors, the instructor certification, and the required CPR testing will be reviewed and distributed to the committee. Face sheets, also Albany Med and St. Peter's, St. Peter's is still not faxing face sheets. Albany Med and St. Peter's are doing so. Tim distributed the 2012 protocol booklets and informed the group that all agencies have been using the new protocols since January 1st, 2012. I sent out a memo to all committee members requesting that they send a delegate to the meetings going forward if they're unable to attend. And I'm going to reach out to the acting nurse manager at Albany Med to see if they can send a representative until the new director is appointed. I did get a response back from St. Peter's, and they will host our March 15th meeting at St. Peter's.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Anne Marie and the rest? Thank you. MCI Committee, PJ.
If you recall, we actually put this MCI, and most of it fell in together days before Hurricane Irene. Nothing like little impending to push things through, but we did get that through, and be thankful that we did. We implemented it in Greene County, and it was very successful. Since then, we realized we're going to backtrack a little bit. Now we have to do a little education amongst the counties and the agencies themselves.
Jim Reagan, who's been an integral part of this committee, has done an excellent job on it. He's going to kind of pick that up from here. He's attended a couple of meetings and is going to share some of that with you.
They're planning on having a large-scale exercise at the Albany County Airport in September this year. And so Transportation Authority and Homeland Security picked up on our plan and invited me to sit in the meetings. So they want to test our plan as part of this operation. Two of the things we want to test in particular are our communications pathway and would we be able to actually get, say, the resources we request, say 50 images at one time. And so what I would like to have is some people to help me, and one person from each county who can work with your own county's PSAP so we can educate everybody in the process, and then we'll have to roll out the education to all providers too so they know what's going on. So you will contact me at some point with your contact person and we can develop a little training program.
Anything further on the MCI committee? All right, thank you. So folks should email you with their issues? Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already have some.
Okay. Or we could, publish your cell phone in the public minutes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for both for your leadership in that area. Membership committee. I know Phyllis isn't here. Tim, you want to comment on the membership committee?
I reviewed the 2011 attendance. There were several members that failed to make the required 50% meeting mandate. I will send advisories notifications out to them, asking them of their intentions. There was one member that didn't make any meetings, which I don't think will be a member anymore. But that's it right now, to find out if the folks that didn't make the 50% do desire to remain members of the committee or not.
Thanks, Tim. Let's take the QI committee next.
Did not meet.
All right. County reports, Albany County, Jim.
In addition, I forgot to mention about this airport drill is going to be held in September at the Albany County Airport. It is a fully funded exercise, and the EMS end of it is being organized by Colony EMS. So if your agency does receive a call to participate, there is the money available for your units and your overtime to backfill too. And this applies to all agencies, including commercial and municipal volunteer.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions for Jim? Columbia County,
No report this time.
Greene County.
Greene County still has problems with her, I think, tropical storm Irene. We're still working on reimbursement, especially for extra time that EMS put into that emergency. We still have bridges out that won't be repaired until the spring. Also, we're dealing with communications. Greene County's always had a problem with communications through its terrain. And the county is spending lots of money on a communications survey to stand in for the problems we've been having. Is that we now have a system where providers can sign up for a text message supplement to the normal radio request for a rig. So anybody who wants to sign up for that, it would be automatically that system text. Get a text message that you're required to keep up what's going on in the county. So we're hopefully after this survey is done and equipment and everything else is squared away, we'll be able to go all the way to solving our communications problem. Also, we found out that our dispatch system for EMS, an 895, is broadband right now. And we have people out there with minuters that are 3s and 4s. The 5s are able to be corrected on that. So we're doing an inventory on what's available there. And also, we're going to have to change over our dispatch to Narrowband. The follow-on communications after dispatch is already on Narrowband, in Great Barrier. So it's the initial dispatch that we'll have to do. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions? Remsco County.
We have a couple training classes going on schedule, and like one was mentioned this evening on the agenda. And other than that, we have nothing noteworthy to report.
Any questions for Remsco County? All right, thank you. Saratoga County, Kevin.
No report.
Any questions for Kevin?
Do you feel the love?
I do.
Schenectady County, Jim.
The thing reported, we got some skills training days that we've got tentatively scheduled, 4 of them, 2 BLS, 2 ALS for the providers in the county. So we're still working out the details on where it's going to be. There's only 5 in the county, community college. That's it.
Great, thanks, Jim. Any questions, Schenectady County? All right, on new business, we've addressed all 3 items, but we do have to address the nominating committee for 2012. Mr. Reagan.
Conducted an email survey of the membership, and the nomination requests I have back, people who indicated they'd be willing to be nominated for office include all those who are currently holding office now would like to be nominated for their respective positions. In addition, Lynn Kane would like to be nominated for the position of secretary. The chairman will open the floor to nominations again for everybody, and I believe if you need ballots, Mr. Chairman, if you need the ballots, they're over there.
Okay, go around. Okay, so for the first position, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin.
All right, for the position of chairman, nominating committee puts forth Mr. Rinaldi. Any nominations from the floor? Any nominations from the floor? Any nominations from the floor? Okay. No nominations. Dave?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the nominations be closed and the secretary cast 1 ballot on chairman.
Second to the motion?
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks for your continued support.
Feel the love.
I appreciate that. All right, for the position of first vice chairman, we have Kevin Robert. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Any nominations from the floor? Are there any other nominations for first vice chairman from the floor? Okay.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chairman, close nominations, cast 1 ballot for Mr. Roberts, first vice chair.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have 1 nomination for second vice chairman, Steve Kroll. Any other nominations from the floor? Nominations from the floor. Any other nominations for second vice chairman?
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, close nominations, please cast 1 vote, Mr. Cole, second vice chair, extraordinaire. Oh, all right.
Do I have a second? Dave? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, congratulations, Mr. Kroll. We have 1 nomination for treasurer. It says here treasurer for life. It's fine print.
I think that's right. I've read it, that's what that says. If he can balance a checkbook, it's his.
The esteemed Rich Brent. Any other nominations from the floor for the office of treasurer? Nominations from the floor. Any nominations for treasurer? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move the nominations be closed and the secretary cast 1 ballot for Mr. Brent.
I have a second. Jim? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
There you go.
For the position of secretary, we have 2 nominations, Skip Nearney and Lynn Kane. Any other nominations from the floor? Nominations from the floor. Any other nominations for the position of secretary? Because we have two nominations, I need a motion to close for nominations, and then we will have a ballot handed out to the vote. Dave?
Chairman, I move nominations be closed and proceed before you.
Do I have a second? Thank you. All in favor of proceeding with the vote? All in favor of proceeding with the vote?
K-A-N.
Aye. Anyone opposed to proceeding with the vote? Let's try that one more time. All in favor of proceeding with the vote? Aye. Great, thank you. You're receiving a ballot. Please write either Skip or his name on the ballot, and Tim will collect it, and
Hugs and kisses. Do you get to vote?
Yeah.
Come on. If I know, I would have brought the runs. I didn't realize I had competition.
I was thinking I was so pretty. I'm gonna put my name on all the pieces of paper.
Nice. Yeah, you are. I'm just trying to keep you honest, Skip. You know, keep you on your toes.
I've been told I should.
Sometimes a little bit of that.
At least it's not for life, like this. Yeah.
Having trouble with the chat.
I hope you don't count food in your
Hey.
Thank you.
Probably recording the whole thing.
It's 8:05.
By your vote, you have re-elected Skip Nerney as your secretary.
Congratulations.
Any further business to be brought before the council this evening? The moment you've all waited for.
I'm not going to do it this time for him.
Jeff?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. I thought you had a new item.
I did, no, we'll wait, that's all right. Let's go home.
All in favor of adjournment? Aye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.